we're currently in that boring part of the NFL offseason where nothing special happens, everything's boring. Like, the news you hear is like, oh my god, Tom Brady bought a new puppy. Like, nobody cares about that. Like, there's nothing going on. We're in that part of the offseason. There's nothing to talk about. So, today we're going to talk about the top 5 breakout candidates for the Houston Texans. Now, when I mean breakout candidate, I don't mean like a guy who's going to go from being a scrub to being a really good player. I mean something more around the lines of this guy's going to break out into being a well-known player across the league. Like when people think of the Houston Texans, they think of DeAndre Hopkins, Deshaun Watson, J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney. But, of course, to become a household name, you have to be a good player. To be a breakout player, a breakout star, whatever you want to call it, you got to be a good player. And, let's just start this off. I do have one honorable mention, and that is Martinez Rankin, left guard, or I'm assuming left guard for the Texans. Now, I know some of you guys are going to say, what, Martinez Rankin? The Martinez Rankin hate has got to stop. It just has to. It's uncalled for. I mean, last year this guy was a rookie. He broke his foot in rookie mini camps. He didn't practice at all off season. And he came back week one. Week 1, Sean Henderson breaks his ankle, so he gets thrown into the fire without even practicing that much in the off season. So it's not his fault that he looked as bad as he was. Not only that, Martinez Rankin was pegged as the guard in the NFL, and the Texans played him at left tackle. And Bill O'Brien has already came out and said, and I think Brian Gain as well, but for sure Bill O'Brien has, he said Martinez Rankin is a guard. He already said it, so Martinez Rankin will not be playing tackle anymore. And the reason why I'm high on Martinez Rankin is because of the one game last season where he did start at left guard. If you guys don't remember what game that was, it was the Eagles game. Go back and watch it. Martinez Rankin at left guard played better than whatever Greg Manx did at left guard, the few moments he played left guard, and he did better than what Sunil Kilamedi did at left guard all season long. And keep in mind, Martinez Rankin wasn't going up against no-name scrubs. He was going up against the Eagles' front four, which is really good. He was going up against Fletcher Cox. Now, he did allow a sack, but that sack wasn't, him getting flat out beat or, embarrassed. He just slipped, and it happens. I think Martinez Rankin can definitely build off of that. Is it a small sample size? Yes. But when you go out there and look better than what anyone else looked like out there for the whole season, I think those are good signs. Now, the reason why he's in my honorable mention and not my top 5 is because he's an offensive lineman. In order for an offensive lineman to get recognition, you have to be all-pro caliber. And I'm not sure Martinez Rankin will be all-pro caliber, but the reason why he is even in my honorable mention is because, honestly, I think if Martinez Rankin performs well and he becomes the best offensive lineman on the Texans line, I think he'll probably get some recognition for being the best guy and probably the worst unit in the NFL. So that's why he even gets into my honorable mention. Now, number 5 on my list, I got Deonte Foreman. The Texans running back situation is looking pretty, messy. Lamar Miller, average, nothing special. Foreman coming back from that Achilles injury. No one's ever done it before at the running back position. Can he be the one to do it? Who knows? But it's wide open for the Texans running backs. Lamar Miller, he has 1 year left on his deal, so he's probably not going to be here past this upcoming season. So someone's going to have to step up, and I think that falls 100% on Deonte Foreman. The only thing that's holding Foreman back is that Achilles injury. If he can come back from it, Foreman can be really, really good, and he'll be known as the one guy who came back from the Achilles tear, Like if a running back in the future tears his Achilles, people are no longer going to say, oh, well, that's a career-ending injury. No, they're going to say, well, Deonte Foreman came back from an Achilles injury, so why can't this guy? So I think Foreman's could possibly be thrown in that situation, but again, Achilles injuries are very, very tricky. But I will say this, I am very pleased with what I've been seeing from Foreman this offseason, him working really hard to get back. So, who knows, maybe he does come back. If he does come back to form, then he's going to be in good shape, man. He's going to be really, really good. At number 4, I got Jordan Thomas. And coming out of college, Jordan Thomas was a wide receiver, a really big wide receiver. He was very raw, hadn't really played the tight end position, so the Texans made him into a tight end because obviously he has the size for it. 6'6", like 270 pounds. The guy is huge. He's pretty gifted athletically. And last year he showed some flashes, being a red zone threat, being a threat in the middle of the field. Just, what you like to see from a tight end. And last year was his rookie year, so obviously getting his feet wet in the NFL. And Bill O'Brien has said it before, and I think I've said it before as well. In Bill O'Brien's system, the hardest position to learn after quarterback is tight end because he has to learn the routes, he has to learn the blocking schemes, has to learn all that. So, maybe going from getting your feet wet and learning all you got to do to just playing the game naturally and improving on your craft instead of learning what you got to do. That's going to help Jordan Thomas take a step to the next level. And I think if the O-line improves, hopefully, Jordan Thomas won't have to stay back and block as often. And of course, he got Ryan Griffin, who just got cut like a few days ago. So now Jordan Thomas has a really good chance of being that number 1 tight end unless Kahali Waring comes in here and completely takes that from him. But I do think Jordan Thomas will have more opportunities next season to go out there and perform. I think that'll be good for him. I think he'll be a really, really good tight end for the Texans, and maybe he can become one of those bigger named tight ends, because one of the reasons why a lot of players become known is fantasy football. And right now in fantasy football, there's really not that many good tight ends. There's like 5 of them. So if Jordan Thomas can become a consistent producer for the Texans, then he could become a good fantasy football tight end, and thus making him a big name player, a star player, a household name. Now, the next guy on my list at number 3, I got Shaq Cunningham. Shaq Cunningham last year, I believe it was like the first 4 games, he started off pretty bad. After that, he really, got into his groove and started playing really well. So this season, I'm hoping Shaq Cunningham can take another step forward and really be more consistent throughout the whole season. And that was a glimpse of what Shaq Cunningham can be. He's a guy who can do it all. He's really athletic. He can cover from sideline to sideline. He can stop the run. When you think of Shaq Cunningham, think of guys like Luke Kuechly and Bobby Wagner. They can stop the run well, and they're not a liability in coverage. Benardrick McKinney. I love me Benardrick McKinney. He's a great player, but Benardrick McKinney, he's a dominant run stopper. Pass coverage, a liability. That's fine, because you need players like Benardrick McKinney. Players that are really, really good at what they do, and that's stopping the run. Now, Cunningham, he can do both. So, he can really become an elite linebacker. Something Benardrick McKinney will probably never do because Benardrick McKinney lacks in the pass cover area. Cunningham, he can do it both. Now, number 2, we got Keke Coutee. You guys saw it last year. When Keke played, he was amazing. He pretty much caught everything. The guy was deadly in the slot. Keke's what we've been wanting for the longest time here in Houston, and that's a slot receiver who can actually produce. We've tried with so many players, Braxton Miller, Keyshawn Martin, Demarcus Johnson. We've tried, but we haven't been able to have a player that can play really good in the slot until Keke. He's a crisp route runner, catches almost everything. He has good speed, good agility. he's just an all-around good player. And I am convinced that if Keke played, I don't know, 10 plus games last year, Keke right now would be a household name. Because right now, when people think of the Texans receivers, they're like, well, they got DeAndre Hopkins, and, they got Will Fuller. But they hardly ever mention Keke. And I think Keke deserves to be in the conversation with DeAndre and Fuller. And I think Keke, DeAndre, and Fuller are the best wide receiver trio in the NFL. And I know some Texans fans are already considering Keke injury prone. He's not injury prone. He was healthy throughout his whole college career. I think it's unfair to call Keke injury prone after one season. And keep in mind, the injury that Keke suffered was just a hamstring injury. Hamstring injuries are so annoying in the NFL. Like, they don't go away till the next season. That's just how it goes. Like, they're a lingering injury. So you can't really label Keke as injury prone. In my opinion, injury prone means, or my own definition of injury prone is, someone that keeps getting hurt consistently, all types of injuries, throughout 3 seasons. I give it 3 years. 3 years is what makes it injury prone. So, for example, Will Fuller. He had, what was it last year? A torn ACL, even though that was bad luck. He had, before that, a broken shoulder. And then before that, I forgot what he was dealing with. But Will Fuller is definitely injury prone. He's been injured every single year of his career. Now, like Jadeveon Clowney, for example, his first 2 years, he got hurt. He was kind of leaning towards the injury prone label. But then after that, he hasn't been hurt ever since then. And I'm not talking about like a little small injury where he misses one game. I'm talking about injuries that take him out for a good while. Think of Jason Verrett, who signed with the Niners. Those type of injuries. So, Keke, I think it's unfair to call him injury prone. He's still too young, and if he can stay healthy, hopefully he can stay healthy, he's going to be a household name for the Texans. He's going to be a breakout player. He's going to be like, damn, where do the Texans keep finding all these receivers? That's what type of label they're going to put on the Texans. Like, wow, the Texans got another receiver? And number one, I'm pretty sure you guys know who this is. Justin Reed. Should I even say more? The guy was by far our best safety last season. I might even say he was our best DB. Justin Reed is a complete DB. You got guys that can only cover. For example, Andre Howe. You got guys who can only run support. For example, I don't know, Jalil Adai, who we just signed. Then you got guys like Justin Reed, who can do everything. You want him to cover in the slot? Sure. You want him to come down and run support? Sure. You want him to be a cover 2 player deep? Sure. You want him to be out there by himself and cover the whole back end of the field? Sure. He can do that. He can do everything. He's a rangy safety. He's a ball hawk. He can do it all. And I can guarantee next season, people are going to be talking about Justin Reed. People are going to be like, damn, that Texans safety Justin Reed, he's really, really good. Like, people are going to be saying that, and I am, like Keke, convinced that Justin Reed would have already been a household name, a player people are bringing up and talking about, if Leighton Vander Esch from the Cowboys, Derwin James from the Chargers, and Leonard from the Colts didn't exist. Because in a typical everyday draft class, Justin Reed would have been Defensive Rookie of the Year, because what Justin Reed did was amazing. But unfortunately for Justin Reed, and I guess us, there was 3 other defensive rookies that played lights out, and they're probably playing in bigger markets, teams that people care more about, like the Chargers, even though they have no fans. The Colts, everybody loves them, the Colts, for whatever reason. And the Cowboys, of course, probably the biggest market team in the NFL. So, Justin Reed, he's a very, very good player, and he's going to be a very good player for a long time. And next season, Justin Reed will be a breakout star. He's going to be everywhere. everyone's going to be talking about him. And you can see it now with the Texans. The Texans, the way they're marketing Justin Reed, like they're posting a bunch of stuff about him on Twitter. They want the fans to recognize Justin Reed because they know Justin Reed's a very marketable guy, He's smart. He's a good player on and off the field. He's just an all-around good player. And he's going to be the face of the Texans secondary for years to come. And he's going to be up there when people talk about, man, who's the best safety in the league? People are going to say, oh, you got Jamal Adams, Oh, Eddie Jackson. Oh, Derwin James. Oh, you got Justin Reed too. That's the type of player Justin Reed's going to be. Very good player. He's going to be a breakout star next season. Unless something really bad happens, and, I hope it doesn't happen. I'm pretty sure you guys know what that means. Injuries. Hopefully, nothing bad happens there, and Justin Reed's able to play the whole season, and then, he could become a household name and really dominate out there. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys for today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace. Oh, shit. No.